Hello and welcome to Up the Villa podcast. Welcome to our watch-along for Fulham v Aston Villa. Just as I hit go, kickoff is delayed. So that is a bit annoying, isn't it? So we'll have to just see how it goes, see how long it's delayed for. We may come back in a bit. We'll see how it goes. But how are we all? So who have we got in the building today then? How are we all doing? Hope we're all doing all right. So, team news, very, very interesting. Main talking point of the lineup, I guess, is that we are going to something that a lot of us have been calling, a lot of us have been thinking that we're going to go for. So, we'll have a look at the team news in a minute. We've got Ethan here. How you doing, mate? How you doing? How you doing? Nice to see so many of you back again from the last one, which was really, really good. So thanks everybody for coming back. Love Bleeds is here. How are you? Right, so let's have a look at the line and then let's just try and dissect this a little bit as well. And so we have gone for, and I've been saying this on the last couple of episodes about the partnerships that you can kind of have a look at and gauge what's going on. And this is the second time now that we're going to be going into a game with Pau Torres and Carlos together. They played the second half against Newcastle and they are starting this half against Fulham. But the subtle change is Konsa, who I imagine is going to be tucking in at this right back. We've spoke about all summer about the profile of the player that we think Unai is going to be looking to have in this position. So Konsa is in there, Luke Dean is in there. A little bit of a shake-up in central midfield. We've gone with Kamara and Tielemans. So Dougie Luiz sits out the first half. Second partnership that we've got in this pre-season, the second game that they are starting together is McGinn and Buendia. So I think, obviously, with Jacob Ramsey looking like he's going to be missing the first 3 games, we're used to seeing Buendia on this area at times, but in this sort of Ramsey role, we've got a partnership of Buendia and McGinn, and we have got Cameron Archer starting up top. So, yeah, it's going to be good to see Archer get some minutes. Hopefully, he can get some goals, get some confidence. And then we've got Philogene starting out wide as well. So we are going to have to wait for Diaby to make his debut. So, Villa fans in the chat, what are you thinking of this defensive lineup then? Are you happy? Do you think that there's something in this? Do you think this is sort of the settled back 4 maybe? I don't know, but are we thinking that this is something similar? I think we can all agree that Pau Torres, for me, is going to start the first game of the season. We know Luca Dean, if he stays fit all through pre-season, he's going to start the first game with Moreno being out. It's kind of this area, isn't it, of what we do. I mean, Cash played 90 minutes against Newcastle, so I think, it's right that he sits this one out, but I think it's more interesting that who has gone there. And Carlos, getting minutes, and he really needs minutes, doesn't he? This is the biggest thing for Carlos, getting minutes and getting back to that level, that fitness level, confidence level. Does he feel right in himself? Does he trust his body? And does Unai trust his body, and is he back? And I think if he is back to that level that he showed that he had at the start of last season, the fitness-wise, the player that we bought for sort of like 20-odd million, 30 million, then I think, yeah. So, interesting goalkeeper. I'm not going to be too critical, but, my thoughts. But, yeah, so big game for Olsen with the ball at his feet as well, isn't it? He's got to give us some confidence. He's got to give his teammates some confidence. He's got to show that he's up to the task and play with the ball at his feet and show that he can do that. So let's have a look at what some of you are saying. All right, Luke. Hope we can see DRB in action. Me too. You're gonna have to let me know what's going on with the kickoff time in the chat as well. Like what we're saying. Are we just got a 10-minute delay, or is it half an hour or an hour? So let's have a look then what we got going on. Yeah, that was really good, to be fair. Anyone seen Tielemans with the little camera on? I mean, we all have that dream, don't we? We all think, you know what, looks easy when you're watching it and when you're playing, but so fast, isn't it? And you know, when he's trying to cover that ground to get back, to get a tackle in, or you know, the ball at his feet, and it's so quick, there's someone pressing him. So yeah, it was an eye opener to see how little time you get on the ball and how you have to read the game so quickly. So yeah, the Tielemans cam was really good. So yes, that's Philogene Bidace. We haven't got a graphic for him at the minute. So let's have a look what else we got going on. Heard that there's a lightning storm, that's why the game has been delayed. John has put, don't get it, Mings and Conte was 100% right last season, why change it? Well, I just think we've brought in a ball playing centre half, haven't we, in Pau Torres? So for me, Pau Torres starts first game of the season. He's obviously been signed for a reason because he's so good with the ball at his feet. And one player is going to have to sit out in this current system, isn't it? If it looks like this, like you say, Mings is sitting out this one, maybe it would be another player. But you know, are you guys happy with that back five? Well, our back four, you know. So let me know what your thoughts are. Gonna see if he's any good at right back to see if we need to buy a new one. Villa fan 69's put great lineup. I think Carlos will be immense for us this year. I'm excited to see the defense. Would love Martinez camp. Yeah, that would be a good one, to be fair. Yeah, and if anyone knows what the Fulham team news is, let me know what the Fulham team news is. All Olsen has to do is not pass to the opposition strikers. Olsen is awful. Worried watching the Newcastle game that Yuri looks unfit. I think that's a bit of a myth, to be fair. I don't think he's unfit. I mean, he played international football for Belgium, and you know, he was man of the match in one of the games in the summer, and he looked sharp, and he was one of the best players on the pitch. So I think Tielemans will be fine, to be fair. Olsen must show some promise in training to still be, well, to be fair, it's the only keeper we got at the minute, so other than Martinez. So yeah, so 30 minutes delayed. Let's get through some of your comments. Any news on Doku coming in? I don't know. You know, he was heavily linked, wasn't he, after we signed Diaby, which was a bit of a surprise because it kind of felt like at the time there was a bit of like posturing around, you know, when you're trying to go for a player and then there's another player that emerges in the same position that you're going for. So it was a bit strange that Doku rumour came out after we'd signed Diaby. So I do think we will be looking for another winger slash 10 slash sort of like support striker, because I think, you know, Unai said, didn't he, yesterday, that, you know, he's sticking with Archer, sticking with Duran, sticking with Watkins. So I would hope that there's another player that can come in and offer something more up top as well. So I would still really like Ferran Torres, but apparently today there was a rumour that Qatar have pumped in 100 million into Barcelona. So they're able now to sort of register players. So I think that's going to be interesting to see what they do and whether what players are still available from Barca. We kind of rumoured and touted to be linked with Kessie as well, aren't we? Central midfielder. So I think that one's one to keep an eye on. But I think at the minute, maybe Villa's focus is trying to get a couple of little outgoings first, maybe to just shore up the squad and make it a little bit more compact. I think then Donker leaving or like a Chambers or somebody like that. I think maybe someone like that might be going before we can start to move into sort of filling the squad a little bit more. Even though I love Mings Torres starts, I can see them playing 3 centre backs and 2 wing backs. Olsen will hinder Konsa at right back. I don't think Mings should lose his spot. Torres has to earn it for me when his chance comes. I used to live in Florida and we had daily lightning strike maps during summer. Would you use 2 left-footed centre backs? For me, I'm not opposed to that. I don't see it being a problem, but I know a lot of you really dislike the idea of having 2 left-footed centre halves. Hello, how are
Good
you?
evening. Oh, yes. I was all right until I saw the game was already postponed.
What we saying then?
Well, it could be a long wait, I think. Weather in Florida is currently horrendous, apparently. Electrical storm. Forecast for the next hour isn't very good. I mean, I went to Florida not that long ago. When they have these downpours, they absolutely they're terrible. They're really bad. And I watched a lot of MLS when it was on Sky, and the amount of times I'd turn on for a midnight kickoff, and there just wouldn't be a game when you think, what's going on here? And then they'd cut to it about 45 minutes later, and it'd just be torrential, absolutely torrential. So I think the best we can do is stay on till midnight, and then I'll mute myself and then see what they say when they go live on Sky, I think, because they'll have
Yeah,
an immediate update, I think, at midnight. So what we 14 minutes away. So because they're going live to the game, aren't they? Straight on midnight. So
yeah,
they'll
yeah.
have cameras there. So we'll know at midnight, I think, what we're facing.
Cool. Well, we'll play it by ear then, and we'll see what's going on. So, Justin, what are your thoughts on the defence first? Then,
Yeah, very interesting. It's what pre-season's for, isn't it? To try these things out. I think we've known for a while now that the false right back, as we named it now, is going to happen at some point. I think again we all thought Conte was probably the most likely to start, probably playing there. He seems the most sort of adept, I think, at playing that right-sided defensive right back role. The other one was Carlos, but I think I think Carlos probably. I don't know. I just think it suits Conte more, to be honest. It'll be interesting to see how they play it, to be honest. I think he's obviously going to be very much more defensive and probably even switch more into a back three and allow the left back to become sort of a winger a lot of the time, which he does anyway, even with Cash there. You know, the left back plays as a winger, doesn't he? So very interesting to see how this evolves. It gives Philogene Bidace obviously a bit more freedom down that right hand side because he hasn't got to worry about an overlapping right back so much. So he probably gets a bit more freedom to probably stay a bit further forward and get more involved in attacking things. So yeah, it's not surprising, is it? And it's the right time to try it, isn't it?
yeah, definitely. I was, for how we play, I've just always thought that profile of another centre back just makes ultimate sense to me. So I've mentioned before you came on that we're now seeing Pau Torres and Diego Carlos times 2 as a partnership. Do you read anything into that or not?
Into the what? Sorry, I was just trying to catch up on any news. Say that again. Sorry.
Pau Torres and Carlos playing together again. Do you
Yeah, I
read
think
anything
it's
into that?
not really. No, I think that they need to get minutes into them, don't they? And they need to play. So we know what the manager knows what Mings and Conser are all about. He had them for the majority of the time. Well, every game practically last season. So it's the time to see them play. And Pau Torres, I suppose, with his the money and the stature and the quality that he is, I think he's probably going to be first choice at the start of the season. Well, he'll probably play the first game, so it's a matter of maybe mixing and matching now and finding the partner that maybe suits him the best, or just giving them more minutes to play together. I suppose they've all got to get used to each other, haven't they? We've said it numerous times. There's going to be times when we're going to need all of them. So the more they play together, all the four of them, Concert, Carlos, Mings, and Torres, then the better it's going to be going forward, isn't it? And we don't have to worry about throwing them in on a match day where we're not sure about how things are between each of them.
Yeah, this is a good question actually, and it kind of got me thinking when it happened that we've seen this type of situation happen in the past. I remember, was it Louise lost it against Bolton in the cup last season, and it has happened a couple of times. Do you think it's a problem that Kamara has a habit of losing the ball in and around the edge of the box, and because it happened 2 or 3 times last season and once this pre-season, I get it because it has happened a couple of times, but I think that's kind of what he's being asked to do. He's being asked to sort of take the ball in crowded areas and wriggle out of tight areas or knock it on, and I just think he's being asked to do that, isn't he? I think. What's your vibe?
Yeah, I think it's not so much habit of losing the ball, like you say. I think the amount of times they have to have the ball in those areas, there's bound to be the odd time where they do get the ball nicked off them. None of them are they're not miracle workers, are they? So it stands to reason that if they were having the ball once a game in them areas, then the chances are that you're not going to see them losing the ball. But if they're having that ball, which they do generally 30 times a game, they're going to maybe make a mistake every now and again. But I think it's a risk-reward strategy, the way he likes to play. If we can get the ball into the feet of the sixes and get them turned, and especially if the other team are having a high press on us, which allows us to turn away with the ball. And if the likes of a Louise or a Kamara or even a McGinn dropping short of Buendia or whatever can get free, then you can see if when we break quickly, it creates so many overloads, doesn't it? That left-hand side, we saw it at West Ham a lot. When we went to West Ham last season, it worked a treat. The amount of times we got Moreno free down the left with playing out from the back, and West Ham, they were trying to counter it, but they couldn't counter it, could they? And eventually we made the breakthrough by getting Moreno in down the left, whipping the ball in for Watkins to score. So, it is a bit of a risky way of playing. And when we first started it, we did make a few little mistakes. And I think the other night, yes, he did lose the ball a couple of times, but I think it was more maybe just a bit of rustiness. It was the first time he's played, and that's what pre-season again is for, isn't it? To sort of to get ready for the season. So I'm not overly worried about Kamara. I think he's a fantastic player, and by the time we get going, he'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah, and a lot of you in the chat are mentioning the pass from Cash to him, and I do get that as well. It wasn't the greatest of passes, to be fair, but
I also think, look, that because we're playing these high-profile pre-season tournament this year, and most of the games now are streamed or you can watch them somewhere, that it's not like the old days when a lot of pre-season went under the radar and not many fans went to watch them unless you were close, and you didn't really see these kind of games. Did you? Nowadays everything is hyper analysed as well. So years gone by, you wouldn't have even worried about a pre-season game. You just heard the results and thought, okay, it doesn't really matter that much. But I don't think there's a worry with any of them, to be honest. We know that they're well drilled. We know they're well coached. We know what the manager's all about, and we know once we kick off that first game, we'll be ready for it.
Yeah, definitely. I was watching a bit of, before we came on, a bit of Brighton, and I was watching their system, and it's still pretty good, to be fair. That reverse 4-4-2, they were knocking it
It's
about
2-0 to Brighton
nicely.
now.
Yeah, they were playing quite well, to be fair. So, yeah, they were playing good.
Should we just do
Right,
a
so
Brighton-Brentford watch-along instead? There's half an hour left in that game. We might have to.
yeah, Michael's saying he's Kamara, the new fall guy. I wouldn't say anyone's saying he's a fall guy, to be fair. I just think some have just highlighted the mistake. Right, what else we got going on then? What's it saying, Justin? How long are we delayed for? Till half past?
Still doesn't say anything. 6 minutes till it comes on the telly, so we shall. I'm just seeing if Villa are updating anything on. They haven't updated now for half an hour since they said that the game was postponed. So we'll. No, still showing puddles on the pitch already. Stato's just put on a picture of the pitch. And it's sort of showing puddles on the centre circle.
Is it?
You can see that there. So I don't know. We'll have to see. I mean, if they come on at midday and say it's an hour and a half before they start, I don't think they're going to call it off. I think it will be a delay. Someone in the chat says 30-minute delay. We'll know in about 5 minutes' time. So I'll just mute so you can't hear the telly, and I'll turn it up and listen to what they say when we go live. But hopefully, if it's half an hour, I reckon we should be okay to go still.
Yeah, I think everybody's saying striker right back, second goal. I think that's what everyone's pretty much hoping for, really.
The striker's an interesting one, isn't it? Because he obviously came out today and backed Duran and Archer for next season without actually saying that they are staying and they're going to be. Oh, that's how I read it anyway. That they're going to stay and they were going to be like the second and third choices. He sort of left the door open that something still could happen there. I've got a sneaky feeling we're still going to see one of those two go off on loan, and we might bring in another attacker. Maybe not an out and out. I know we were talking in the group chat before we came on. Maybe not an out and out centre forward, but like a player that can play in the front roles. So I wouldn't rule out something like that happening. Still, maybe.
It's such a difficult situation, isn't it? This striker chat, because you can see it from all angles, can't you? You can literally see it from all angles. Like, I personally really rate Ollie Watkins, and I would say that he's our main striker. And if fit, plays most games, I think he's going to get 20 goals in the Premier League this season. I think he's going to, do really well. But we'll get some people comment saying he's not good enough. We need better. So those people kind of want him replacing. Do you know what I mean? So, and
it's
then
a tough
you've
one because, like you say, Ollie Watkins is our obvious standout striker who's needed fantastically well last season, especially under Unai. My concern is that one injury, and we're relying on two very, very young, inexperienced, top flight Premier League players, really. And now I'm not disregarding either of them to have quality, but it worries me that if we're relying on them to lead the line week in, week out, going on four fronts, with games coming thick and fast, that's my only concern, I think. That there's a chance maybe that Diaby has been brought into play there as well, and maybe even Bailey up top, using the pace and stretching the game and stuff. So we have got options, but we haven't really got another Ollie Watkins, which I think, how many teams carry two top strikers? It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because you don't want a squad full of players that aren't going to play. But given the amount of games we've got coming, I don't know. If Ollie Watkins stays fit, absolutely fine.
The thing is as well is it's like yeah, we're planning for like this season, but we're also like recruiting for like the season after and the season after that, and it kind of feels like we're in a bit of a weird one with this striker because we're waiting for Watkins to sign this new deal. Like you say, we don't want to just bring in any old striker that's just, when we were linked with that guy from is it Leon? Who was that now?
Yes, I know you mean. I can't think of his name
Like,
now. I
like,
think
imagine bringing in like a striker like that. Like, it's just so underwhelming. He's just going to sit on the bench. We're probably going to be paying him about 60, 70k a week or whatever, and he'll only play if Watkins doesn't play. And what level of player is he anyway? Then it means that someone like Duran or Archer can't develop because they're like third and fourth choice. So it is a really tough one. And the only scenario I see is that if it is sort of like a winger or someone like I keep saying Ferran Torres, but someone of that ilk of that can play in at numerous positions that can have an impact up top as well. I really struggle to see another striker coming into Aston Villa. So in the chat,
well,
where do
I,
we think, like, where are we? Are you wanting another striker like to rival Watkins, or are we thinking a striker that's not as good? Or I'd love
no,
to
I
know
think
what you think.
numbers wise, I'm not bothered. I think we've got the numbers are covered. You got three forwards there that obviously Archer, Duran, and Watkins are all centre forwards. So I'm not bothered about volume. I'm bothered about if Watkins got injured, you are then relying on two very inexperienced strikers then to pick up where he's gone. And I'm not saying neither are capable of doing that, but where we've got so much depth everywhere else on the pitch that if you lost a Mings, you're bringing in a Torres. If you lose a McGinn, you're bringing in a Tielemans. If you lose a Dean, you're bringing in a Moreno. We've got almost like for like all over the pitch. But if you lost a Watkins, you're saying, okay, Archer's playing. For me, that's not a like for like. That's not disregarding the quality of these kids. That's just saying it's not a like for like. A bit like the argument we're having with the goalkeeper. If you lose Martinez, you're bringing in Olsen. I know he's an international keeper, but he's not. He's not at the same level as Martinez, and I suppose that's my only little concern. But if we let, I always felt we would let someone like Duran go on loan for a year, and then maybe get a Ferran Torres. That was my sort of thinking, because he can not only can he play up top, he can play any of the attacking midfield roles as well. So it wouldn't be like you're bringing in a player that's there's a sort of a 50-50 split between the two, and they're fighting it out with each other. You've just got an option should Watkins not be fit, I think.
Yeah, it's such a difficult one.
Just an update on this. It's saying somebody's saying that somebody spoke with the staff in the ground. This was 15 minutes ago, and said there would be approximately a 45 minutes to an hour delay if the weather stopped right now and it was still thunder and lightning. So that sounds that doesn't sound very good, does it?
No,
And
it doesn't.
Sky have jumped straight to a different thing now. They haven't even gone to the game.
Oh, what a mare! What a nightmare!
So
Yeah.
I don't know whether they're talking about it on the other game. I'll just mute it for a second, turn up the
Go on then.
Brighton game, see if they are talking about the Villa game.
Yeah, see what you're saying in the chat then. I mean, there's loads of you in here. There's like over 700 watching. So cheers, everyone. Hit a like, subscribe if you're new. But yeah, so a lot of you are saying a 1 hour delay. So if that's confirmed, then we might just like come back. I'll come back probably, or we'll see what's going on. But I don't even. Someone's asked what the Fulham line. I don't even know what the Fulham lineup is. So can't hear you, Justin.
Oh, sorry. I haven't seen the Fulham lineup, to be fair. Oh, I don't know. I've got the So hang on, I'll tell you. Fulham.
Yeah, mad thought. To
Fulham
be fair,
lineup
I
is
think,
Leno, Tete, don't know who that is, Tafugaras, Diop, Mbueo, Reed, Lukic, Kearney, Wilson, Vinicius, De Cordova, Reed. So fairly strong, to be fair.
yeah.
Surprised Villa haven't put anything else out on saying it's going to be an hour delay.
Yeah, I think everyone's agreeing that what Archer deserves minutes and deserves a chance. So that's why it's a bit annoying that Duran's not there. Duran's
Yeah.
injured. It's so annoying that we can't get to see what he's all about. I still feel like with him, I haven't been able to make my mind up because I haven't seen him play enough. I can't.
I'll tell you what, that Fulham have announced that Raul Jimenez tonight as well.
What do you make of that? It's a bit of a step down from Mitrovic, isn't it?
Well, yeah, there's this rumours of Mitrovic going to Saudi, isn't there? So I suppose they've had to make a call on him. But I think for £5 million, it's if they can get him back anywhere near, then it'll be a decent pickup for £5 million.
Did you hear what? Did you hear Lopetegui talking? That
Yeah,
does
I think
not sound good, does it?
their Wolves aren't. They're not in a happy place, are they?
No, I don't get it really, because he kind of had that thing towards the end of the season, didn't he, where he was having a chat with the board and he looked like he was going to leave, and then everything was sort of okay, and now he's done that interview saying he's not happy and stuff. So, can you see him walking?
Potentially, I think he did. A lot of Wolves fans I know, mates of mine, saying that he he sort of deliberately engineered that interview with Guillaume Balaguer to basically voice his frustrations of what's going on at Wolves. So I think, yeah, it's a difficult one for them, isn't it? I'm not a big fan of Wolves, obviously, but I think they've been sold up the river a bit like we were with our Chinese owners. I think they've promised them a lot and it hasn't worked out. A bit like Tony Shaw with us, really. He invested a decent amount of money and then just all of a sudden pulled the plug and disappeared. And it seems to be a very similar thing happening with Wolves. He was told that they needed to sell to buy, but they've sold about £85 million worth of players and they've still been told they've got to sell to buy because they tried to get that Alex Scott, is it?
Yeah.
And they've had to pull the plug on that because they can't afford him. So, yeah, very, very interesting times for Wolves fans.
Yeah, and I mean that Neves was just instrumental to everything that went through them. So the
Yeah,
fact
that's
that
the big one.
they haven't even replaced him, goal scorer, they're relying on brought back that Fabio Silva now, haven't they? So they're pinning their hopes on him. Spent all that money on Cunha, and he didn't really set the Premier League alight, did he? So
Yeah.
I think they're paying the price for some decisions on players that haven't really worked out, have they?
No,
I
it's
mean,
big.
I quite like that Pedence, I do. He always
Yeah,
plays well against us.
it's good. I mean, I predicted Wolves to get relegated last year based on what happened to them the end of the season before. But to be fair, the manager came in and did a fantastic job. And I've seen quite a few Wolves fans on Twitter sort of trying to spin it that this is what they need. They need to get rid of people. They need to have a big clear out. But this, for me, that's not the way to do it. They're going to be. We've got 2.5 weeks to the start of the season. They're going to end up having to buy practically a brand new team, and by the sound of it, they're going to have to shop at League One and lower Championship level to try and fill the squad. So that's just going to end with disaster, isn't it? Still no news here, apart from somebody saying that they're in Florida now, and it's 1 minute to go, and it's still absolutely bucketing it down.
Well, a couple are saying 1:15 start.
So that's
So
over another hour away.
so if it's 1:15, I love all of you, but I don't think I'm going to stay up and do it at 1:15. So,
Well, yeah, you're looking at nearly 3:30 finish, aren't you?
yeah, I mean, I might watch it, but I might not stream it. But yeah, so I think Wolves are really in big trouble, and I I don't buy that Lopetegui is this elite manager either. I've been watching a lot of their fans, and they're saying like he's an elite manager, and I'm thinking, I don't know, I didn't see enough from them last season for them to sort of have that claim, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm not.
Well, I know a mate of mine, Mike. I think he might be watching. He said Lopetegui is a very good manager when he came in at Wolves, and I wasn't sure about him. I looked at his record, and it's decent. He obviously got the Spain job, and he fell out with Madrid, didn't he? Going there, and I was very very skeptical on him, but I've got to be honest. I think he did a really really good job with them, considering where they were when he came in. I think he is a decent top level manager, but you're going to be struggling to do it with what he's going to have to work with next season. He's going to have nowhere near the quality of player that he had last year. So somebody said game was abandoned. What's that? No, I don't think it's been abandoned yet.
No, I don't think it's been abandoned. Yeah, I don't think it's been. No, I've still got just nothing on my feed. But yeah, so I think they're in trouble. Big trouble. Everton, I think they're not learning, are they, from that sucking in phase of getting the recruitment wrong, and they're still messing about with not great signings. So I think they're probably gonna struggle early. What's your vibe on Liverpool? Because they're going after that Lavia now, aren't they?
I like him now. To be fair, I think that's a good signing.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of clubs that are having to reset, aren't they, this year? I have a sneaky feeling Everton might do all right next season.
Do you?
I don't know why. No real. I'd have to see what they do. I've got quite friendly with a lad that does their podcast. I spoke about Ashley Young with him, and I spoke a bit to him this week actually, because Ashley Young scored, didn't he, in the week for them? And apparently he came off to a standing ovation. So that's very interesting. We've got someone in the stadium.
Someone in the stadium.
That's
There
it.
we
We've
go.
got a reporter that can report live. Right, Junior Felipe, you are the man that we need to talk to. So,
Yeah. What's the pitch like? Waterlogged puddles? What's
no,
it saying?
yeah. What are they saying? Are they saying anything on the tannoys or the
Yeah.
system? We need to know. Because we need to know if we've got to go to bed here.
Yeah. Yeah, there's loads watching, so hit a like and subscribe if you are new. That would be absolutely amazing. Yeah, it's annoying that this is delayed.
Yeah, it's frustrating, isn't it? I mean, we've got another game Sunday, isn't it? That's a 5 o'clock one, so we can. I'm sure we'll be okay with that one.
Yeah, but it's just they just want to play, don't they? They need to play this
Yeah,
game
yeah.
because,
To be fair, they've got a lot of quality games, haven't they? I mean, the Walsall one was just, basically a warm up. The Newcastle one's a good one. Let's say this one gets canned tonight because of weather, and then we've still got, who do we play on Sunday? Is that Brentford?
yeah,
Yeah, Brentford Sunday. Then we've got the two Italian sides, haven't we? We got Lazio.
well, we've got Valencia.
Sorry, the Spanish, and then Lazio, haven't we? Is it Lazio
Yeah,
at Warsaw? I'm going to that one, so that should be good.
yeah. So there's not that many games to go. I mean, we was talking about like content coming out, and it's like 2 weeks really. So
Yeah,
it's not long, is it really, before it all sort
2
of
weeks Saturday, isn't it?
kicks off? And I think it's great that we're playing Premier League opposition. I was looking at Everton. I think they played Bolton yesterday and drew 0-0. Like, yeah, I just like that we're playing teams that are in our league. So Here he is. What's Dino saying? Video on Facebook pitch is put game to be called off. Cheers for the donation, mate. Thank you very much. Yeah, loads of you in here now. So if you hit a like, subscribe if you're new.
Which doing
It would
wonders
be
for the
very
viewing figures
appreciated.
anyway, isn't it?
Yeah,
If
but I
nothing
feel
else.
like you know when I always remember like England were playing a game before and like it's like the pitch was waterlogged and the presenters have to talk for like an hour and
I
they're
know,
just
yeah.
trying to
I know how
they're just
Test match
trying
special feel now when it's been
they're
raining
trying
them
to
last 2 days.
unfortunately we don't have any highlights of previous episodes to show you, so we just gotta like sit here and chill. But if any of you want to ask a question, we'll answer a question or whatever. So yeah, we have no idea what time the kickoff is, so it
As
was
soon as we
meant to
know
be
for sure.
12.
Yeah. Anyone watching the cricket tomorrow?
I can't wait for it. I
That's
can't
best.
wait. Do you know what? I was so gutted of that rain because we were gonna
Yeah, I
win,
was
weren't
as
we?
well. Yeah, it would have been 2-all. Been fantastic going into this last test. 2-all. It was absolutely fantastic, but it wasn't meant to be. That's cricket, so we'll have to see.
Do you think it's going to be close again, or do you think we're going to have like more confidence
I think
because
we're going
we
to beat them.
do? You?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think we're going to beat them. Yeah, definitely. I think we've got the momentum in the game now. I think we've got. They looked really, really out of sorts that last game.
Yeah.
We would have
They looked
beaten
a
them.
bit rattled, didn't they?
They were, yeah. I think we would have beaten them by probably 7 or 8 wickets in that, which would have been the
Yeah.
biggest, win so far. So yes, it's a shame. It's a shame because it's been absolutely phenomenal series. But if we do get a 2-all, then 2-0 down with 3 to play, I think that's a decent outcome. I don't want to lose a series to them now. We haven't lost a home series to the Aussies since I think it's 21 years. So 2-all now would do for me.
Yeah. This is quite a good question. Top 10 Villa youth, 1 to 10. I
Jesus.
don't think I could name 10, but I'll give you. How many could I give you? I don't know how many I could give you. I'd go for me. Number 1 would be Feeney. I think as a defender, I think from what I've seen watching in the 23s, I think he's looked calm, composed, assured, ball playing centre back. The next one would be Kellyman. Again, we've watched him numerous times now, and every time we think he's looked brilliant. So I'd say Kellyman. Todd looks good. Todd Alcott. So
He's injured. I found
he's
out today
injured
he's
now.
injured. Yeah, he's out for 8 weeks. I think it's a thigh injury, so it's a real shame. Spoke to his mum today. For anyone who doesn't know, I'm friendly with my wife's actually friendly with Todd Alcock, who made the step up to the 21s last season. We saw him a lot. Very, very. He signed his first professional contract alongside a few of the others last year. Centre midfielder, good prospect. Actually saw him at my kid's school when he was 5 years old. It's an interesting story. Just up the road from where I live here, he played in a little tournament and with my nephew, and he was the tiny dot of a kid. And I said, "Oh, who's this kid coming on?" And he was honestly, when you see a kid playing football, you think, "Christ Almighty!" He was a year younger than everyone else, and he just ran the show. And someone said, "Oh, he's at the academy, and he's been there since he was 6, I think." And yeah, he's a good footballer, very good footballer. So one to watch out for, definitely.
Rory Wilson, very, very good. Natural
Yeah,
goal scorer, can score from, I've seen him score from anywhere outside the box, different angles, really good finisher. Caden Young again, quite explosive, quick. Yeah, they're probably the standout ones, and they're the younger ones that are playing like a couple of years ahead of where they should be. And I remember Perslow saying that that's what he wanted. He wanted the younger ones to be playing in the under 23s. He didn't want 20, 21-year-olds playing for the under-23, so they are playing, a couple of years ahead, and I think they stand out and they look really good. Wilson, he's a striker, but he just needs to physically grow. He just needs to get a bit more muscle on him, but that comes with age, doesn't it? So I think that's potentially why someone like Rory Wilson isn't there. But Kellyman, I mean, that story when we went to the under-23s, and it was towards it was in the second half, weren't it? And I was like, I know him there. Like, he looks really familiar, and he had his assistant with him, and he looks really familiar as well. And then we was kind of like, that's Michael O'Neill, that is. And then we were like, well, who's he watching? And then as soon as Kellyman came off, they both went, and there was about 20 minutes to go. And so the Northern Ireland first team manager is watching Kellyman at sort of like 16, 17 years of age. So, the academy is really good. Like, when we go, if any of you get the chance, if any of you are season ticket holders, you get in for free. You have to get a ticket beforehand. You get in for free. It's a nice stand, and you get to watch them play for 90 minutes. And what we saw when Unai came in was that there was that progression of playing out from the back, the centre half split, like similar formation, 4-4-2. So it was really interesting to see that sort of transition from the first team to what goes on there. And, you're starting to see some of the players that have been out on loan, that the loans have worked really well for someone like Philogene, and you've got Irabuna. So yeah, they're the ones that really stand out for me. So it is a good question, to be fair.
Someone's just said in another group chat that the kickoff has been delayed until 1:15 at the earliest.
Really?
So that's an hour before, and that's the earliest. So,
Okay.
And Ryan, whose friend is actually in the stadium, has sent a picture saying that the rain is coming into the stands now as well. That was somebody that's in the stadium.
Oh my God!
And the rain is coming into the stands. So I have a horrible feeling that this game might be abandoned. I don't know what the cut-off time. I suppose there'll have to be a cut-off time, won't there?
People in the chat are saying it has been called off. So has it been called off?
Not officially, I don't think. I think Villa will put on their channel, won't they?
Yeah.
On the official weather app, it's saying thunderstorm for the next hour. We'll just give it another 20 minutes. They're going to have to say something fairly soon, I think.
Oh, it's annoying that we're not going to see Diaby. That's annoying, isn't it?
Someone's saying now that sun is starting to break, clouds gradually moving across. We need 30 minutes storm-free within an 8-mile radius for the game to start at 8 p.m. Florida time.
So what's that, 1 o'clock? That's 1 o'clock here then, isn't it?
That's 1 o'clock, I think, yeah. Someone said Villa are going to be playing in their third kit tonight.
I'll tell you what, at this point, I'd probably go and buy it.
I am surprised, to be fair, that they haven't announced the away kit.
Yeah, like, where's the away kit?
I thought that would be today, yeah. I thought they'd be playing in that tonight.
Because you can't get any of none of the training gear's out yet either, is it?
Is it not?
No.
Right.
Yeah.
I was going to... Apparently they are commenting on it. Right, this game's about to finish, the Brentford one, so I'm going to mute and see if they're saying anything.
Okay. Shout out to Andrew joining from North Carolina. Let us know where you're all watching from then. I love it when you all do this. It's so interesting to see where you're actually watching from. Cheers, Dean, for becoming a member. Thanks a lot, mate. Yeah, if you haven't already, just press like on the stream. It'll get more people in here as well. Little cheeky Worcester. Here we go. Some good ones coming in now. Right, let's have a look.
Looks like we've got an Aussie in the chat. Someone says Tasmania. Is that an Aussie?
So we got Ireland. If you do, I'm gonna go for the exotic ones. Okay, so standard ones.
Don't lie.
I'm gonna leave out. I'm gonna leave out Toronto, Tasmania,
Kingston, Birmingham. There's one for you.
You're not far from me, then, mate. You're not far from me.
I've just seen someone from China. Was that a joke? Shenzhen,
Canada,
Shenzhen, China,
New Zealand. That's mad. That's mad. Porto. That sounds nice. New York.
Nice.
Norway. China. Seattle. Zurich. Thailand. I find it mad that some of you watch from all these places.
Someone said Sydney, but was from Brown Hills. That's a hell of a
LA.
jaunt, isn't it?
That's mad. Any news, Justin?
No, just waiting for this game to end so that they might then go and say what's happening. There's still a minute left. Brentford, Brighton, still 2-0 to Brentford. No, Brighton. Sorry.
Brentford are having a poor pre-season, aren't they? Lost 2 games.
Yeah. They could have a poor season next year. I think it could be the season they have a bit of a drop.
Yeah. There's a lot of pressure on Mbuemo, isn't there, to fill the void of Tony?
So long. Wasn't there rumours that Spurs might be looking at Ivan Tony if they get rid of Harry Kane? I heard that somewhere.
Do you think he needs to move Kane?
If he wants to win things, yeah, I think he does. I think it's a bit of a cop-out going to Bayern because I don't think it's a massively good league. It's obviously very much dominated by Bayern, so he would guarantee a few trophies there.
Yeah.
So I suppose out of everywhere he could have gone, it's probably the strangest one. I'm surprised Madrid haven't come in for him, but then I suppose they'll have.
They've got that deal with Mbappe, though, haven't they?
But they've got Mbappe next summer, haven't they? So, right, let's listen to what they're saying here. I'm just going to mute for a sec.
Okay. Well, we'll see what Justin's saying, and then that sounds nice. Tropical Kent. You're not. I grew up in Shellfield, Walsall, Aldridge.
John Townley, who obviously writes for the Birmingham Live, 4 minutes ago said, "Still raining heavily."
I think it's going to be cancelled.
And they said it's got to be. I think that is true. It has to stop for half an hour, and there'll be nothing within, because they have bad lightning, don't they?
Yeah.
Somebody's tagged us in on Twitter. Paul Brunton tagged the podcast in with a picture of the stadium, and there's no one there, and it's absolutely hammering it down. So that don't look good.
We met Paul at one of the games, didn't we? He gave us some Orlando
fan fan.
We've got over 1,000 people watching now. And I'm sorry that you're not actually watching the watch along because it would have been a great watch along. But if you are new, then just subscribe to the channel, hit a like. Hopefully, we'll be doing a watch along, but it doesn't look like we will. Yeah, so kick off now, earliest at 1:15. So that's at the earliest as well.
Now they're saying 1:25 now.
Oh God, it's going up and up every couple of minutes, isn't it?
I think the problem is that if it carries on raining, like they say, then that just naturally puts the kick-off time back. So we might have to call it.
Yeah.
Give it another 15 minutes, shall we, and see what happens.
Yeah. Right. Let's do a little bit of light-hearted entertainment then. Right. So, are we ready for this?
What we're doing, a quiz.
Regular viewers will know that this is a game that we play at half time. So, the game is who's that footballer? So, yes, I know it's blurry, but every time we make a guess, it gets less blurry. So, we have to guess who that is.
Don't you get any clues?
No, but I'm going to go. I'd say that's Joe Gomez. We get 8 guesses basically as well. So, should we go Gomez?
Go on.
Yeah.
You've played this before.
No, honestly, it changes all the time. Right, let's do another one, and I won't guess it. Right.
Joe Gomez.
No, it's got to be different, surely.
That looks like the same one.
Oh, hold on. Hold on. Right. Let me. There we go. Right. You guys in the chat, have a guess. There you go. Looks ginger.
I'm going to say Kevin De Bruyne.
Nah, I don't think it's De Bruyne. I don't think
Go
it's
on.
De Bruyne.
Put it in.
You
Put De
want me?
Bruyne in.
Right. No, it's not De Bruyne.
So I got it right, didn't I?
No, it's got
Oh.
to go green.
Someone's put Mick Hucknall. Oh, that's funny. Too early in the
For some
morning.
reason, I'm thinking like Fulham. Sergeant, yeah, but I think
We've
they've
lost
got to be
40. We've lost 40 viewers.
I think they've got to be current players. I think they're currently still playing the Premier League.
No idea.
This is a difficult one. Someone's saying Craig Dawson. Right, I'll put Craig Dawson in. Oh, what a shout!
That's a great shout.
Who said Dawson? Daniel,
Daniel Denver.
Jack, Kieran. Yeah, quite a few of you are saying Dawson. Right, let's go again. All right, we'll do one more, and then there's a different game we can do. Well, let's do the football club one then. So, same thing, but you have to guess the football badge.
Based on what?
The bit in the middle.
You're joking me now.
It looks a bit Bologna, I think.
Bologna.
Yeah, is it Bologna?
What about Juventus?
I'll go with what a couple of people are saying. So, a couple of you saying Juventus.
Yeah, I think it could be. Oh no.
Do you know what it is? Is
Is
that
it?
Is it
It's Bologna. I
Lecchia?
think you're right, Bologna.
Bologna?
Possibly, yeah. Because it's red and blue.
Yeah, but there's a Lecchia as well. I got it
There
straight
you
away.
go. Yeah, red and blue, yeah.
By knowledge. Right, let's see if we can do some more. Right, because there's quite a lot of you in here. Some of you might be able to do this. I find this game mode too difficult for me. But where are we? Right, here you go then. So you've got to guess the player's career path of where they started their career, and then you'll find out where they finish it at the bottom. So we've got 4 guesses.
I've never even heard of that team. Golas. That's South American.
Must be, mustn't it?
So there's no other player.
But they've bagged goals. 151 appearances. Well, got a few. 20.
20 goals. No idea. Just put anyone in. Oh, well done.
It's not Hulk. Casemiro. No. So they don't play in the Premier League either.
25 past 1 at the earliest.
Oh my God. Really?
Yeah.
Right, should we just sack it up and... Because that's like 50 minutes to wait, isn't it?
Well, yeah, you're looking at basically the best part of an hour, and that's if it stops raining right now, which they've just gone live to the stadium, and it's absolutely bucketing it down still. So I think it could be a bit too late. Unfortunately, everyone, it's just a shame.
Legend, he got that one. Low Easton got that one. Fair play to you. Toloi?
Never heard of him.
Neither have I.
Great knowledge, that is.
Right, it's going to be too long to wait 50 minutes without them even coming on. So what we'll do is I'll just do a match reaction in the morning anyway, and then yeah, I think we call it a day because it's 50 minutes. But thanks everyone who has been waiting for it to start, but it's just going to be too long. So we'll go. If you hit a subscribe if you are new and drop a like, you're all legends. And up the Villa.
Yeah. Sorry it hasn't worked out, everyone, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.